The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3 with Damian. Well, last week we talked about local Kapiti IT firm, GTB Solutions, and their things to watch out with in regards to cybersecurity. So let's welcome the man himself behind the crew. It is Mark Ternent from GTB IT Solutions in Kapiti. G'day, Mark.
G'day, Damian.
How are you doing at this time?
Excellent. Really good, thanks.
It's a crazy time in this world. It has almost brought smaller together with more introduction to online meetings, etc., that have been used over the last few months. So how have you found this time with yourself and the chaos that's out there at the moment?
Yeah, there's a bit of chaos, isn't there? Well, we've done pretty well. I mean, we had a drop-off in business when we went into the lockdown, but we've got a strong client base all around the Wellington region, and we're really pumping out of it now. We do a lot of medical centres, and certainly late in March, when the College of GPs announced on a weekend that doctors had to go by the following Tuesday, and this is the Sunday that they announced it publicly, doctors had to go to having 70% of their consultations remotely. We were just absolutely flat stick for a couple of weeks, shifting doctors to working from home. It was certainly been an unusual period.
Absolutely, and the security around that. But what we like to do on the show first and foremost is get to know our people and a bit about yourself. So can we, Mark, your background in IT, how did it start out for you, and how did the business evolve?
Right, okay. A long time ago in a galaxy far away, I had a management career, got to be a senior manager, branch of 450 people, but I'd always been involved in IT solutions for the business, the organisations. And then about 15 years ago, I met lady Sarah McMurray at a BNI, one of the local Kapiti BNIs. I was a business coach, and she had an IT company, and I started coaching her, and then we got together from there, and I got on board with the business probably about 10 years ago. Her sort of background was, she's sort of like had kids type thing, and then she's wondering, well, what do I do next? And she was living in Waikanae, and so she started helping people with their computers, and that was 20 years ago last year. So I've not really IT tech by background. I'm more of a business person, but I've gradually given up my coaching and that sort of thing and moved really full-time into the business. And the passion we share is in terms of helping businesses to do better, because IT is so critical to what you do these days that it really can be an enabler for the business. And I look at it from the business point of view, and Sarah looks at it from the IT point of view, and we've got a team of 8 all together that we deliver to businesses.
Brilliant. So I can't even imagine what the answer would be if I were to ask you what the changes you've seen over the last 20 years in the IT industry.
Yeah, no, it just changes all the time.
Yeah.
The half-life of knowledge in IT is quite low. Now, I remember at our BNI, we had plumbers, and their industry is changing and evolving, but the half-life is so much longer. Often when you do your apprenticeship, you're still doing very similar things a long time later. We've got 3 senior techs working here at GTB with a lot of experience individually and between them, and it's like every few years, half of what they know is now historical, because we're just constantly learning new stuff. I remember 10 years ago, say, for example, online backups, where you can back up your data to the cloud. It's like, whoa, that sounds really cool, let's get into that. And now there's been through about 3 evolutions of the technology involved, and it's just so far different to what it was 10 years ago. It's just not funny.
Yeah, I got a brand new laptop first week of lockdown, and I made sure I got the top of the line, and within a week I think the jokes started already arriving that it was obsolete, and we couldn't use it anymore. But what are some of those things that businesses aren't thinking about still that they should be?
Well, there's one story perhaps comes to my mind, and this is in relation, my experience, and that is when I was a business coach, I got the IT, which is Sarah's company to put in a server for me, and I had a full-time PA. The two of us worked together all day, and she needed to be able to see my calendar, and vice versa. I needed to be able to book appointments when I was on the road, and so we paid basically $8,000, and that was a pretty good price for a server to put in. Nowadays, like 10, 12 years later, you can do that with Office 365, and it's a couple $100 to set it up, and then it's $7.50 a month for the email from there on. So some things really have just totally moved on. And so, the answer to your question is, we still come across businesses that have terrestrial-based stuff in their premises, and there's a bunch of questions there around whether they're backed up properly, whether they're at risk, but also that there can be cost savings in looking to go to the cloud. I often meet people and they go, "Oh, is the cloud safe?" And and that's a good question. It can be really, really safe, and it can be safer than having the stuff stuck on an old computer out the back of your business, where if it fails, you don't have a decent backup. That's for sure.
Well, we're in the world where it doesn't really matter what desk you sit at. If you can plug in and you've got the tools that you need, for me, for instance, is a laptop and microphone. I can do it from anywhere as long as I've got the internet. But again, it goes back to that security, that peace of mind. So it does depend in what you put, the quality of product you put into your system, as opposed to what you're going to get out of it in regards to your security, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I mean, and I remember harping on to our poor old clients over the years about security and feeling a bit like a stuck record, the Dutch boy with his finger in the dike, whatever it was. And, but feeling I was harping on about something. But what we've noticed definitely since COVID, but also over the last couple of years, but COVID has really sped it up, is that there's a lot more threats to smaller businesses. The hackers are really targeting businesses that in the past would not have been looked at, and also to remote workers, people remotely working, and that could be the person, the one-man band, one-woman band who's working from home, or it could be workers who were sent home and they're using home PCs that are used by the grandies to play games on, or they haven't got a decent piece of security software on their home laptop or whatever. But we're definitely noticing a lot more attacks on small businesses, and since COVID, on remote workers.
I'm glad you brought up the games, because we do live in an app world, and are those apps safe, especially if you're using the work phone?
Yeah, well, that's right. And I mean, and there's a thing in IT that if you're not paying for it, then you are the revenue source for them. So, there's a lot of apps and websites that are designed to get information from you or to get access to you these days, very much.
So we talked about the threats, the 5 threats that you put out last week, things to watch out for. Are you seeing more businesses actually paying attention to those things to watch out for?
I mean, yes, is a short answer, and partly because we keep on going on about it. We've had quite a period in terms of our own development, because we, like a lot of businesses, we're always looking what to develop next inside our own product set, our own tools, and security's been the thing. And so we're upgrading a lot of our clients at the moment, speaking with them about where they're at and giving them better tools. But yeah, and there is more interest in it. We're a part of a national group called the IT Alliance of companies like us around the country, and we all have our own little areas. And there's some pretty switched on people in there. And right across that group, the thing that is getting response for us is security and risk. And that's because it is a thing. It is a topic.
Absolutely. COVID for a lot of people was a time to reset, readjust, adapt. Did you talk about getting all the doctors set up and everything? Was it a proactive time for you guys, or was it a very much reactive time for you guys? Did you get a chance to sit down and get up to date with everything that's going on?
Everything that's going on, that'd be a challenge.
Yeah, no,
it was both proactive and reactive in that I think just generally with the use of technology in businesses, we've seen an acceleration, as you would agree, towards remote working since COVID reared its head. Like I did some seminars on cybersecurity earlier this year with the Kapiti Coast Chamber of Commerce, and I did them at GTB, and I presented them, in front of a bunch of people, the two of them, and it didn't really occur to me to suggest that we could do those by Zoom or remotely. It just didn't even occur. You've got something to say. You need to get people into your meeting room so that you can present it to them. And that's how far we've shifted since just February. People's mindsets have shifted. So we've been reactive in that we've had to keep up with people saying, hey, I need to work from home. I need it to be secure. We've definitely been reactive like that. But also we've been proactive in our industry because there's so much change that's going on. And people are saying, hey, how can I work better? How can I work smarter? Do my people have to go back to work? And there's a whole bunch of questions there that probably now is a good time for many businesses to think about. We've just been through this period where things are a bit different. What's worth keeping? What is actually worth changing to make your business operate differently? Like I've paid for Zoom, yay, and actually paid for it, and $25 a month or something.
Yeah.
And most of our clients, or half of our clients around the Wellington region, they're not in Kapiti. So all I've got to do is save like one car trip to Wellington a month, and I've more than paid for Zoom.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to do that and compromise the relationship with my clients. If I need to be there, I'll be there. But I can see that not only can I save money and I can have good meetings, but I can save a bit of petrol and, maybe help the environment as well.
It's almost, as I said earlier, COVID has made the world a bit smaller, because if you don't have to jump in that car for 40, 50 minutes to get to a meeting that you're only going to need for 15 minutes, then why are we doing it to ourselves?
Yeah, and some clients, because clients to us are critical, they're what we focus on, and some clients will still want to see people face to face, and you still have to build a relationship, but that there could be better meetings that you can have occasionally where you just pick up the Zoom or whatever you're on, and talk to them that way and save yourself on petrol time. Yeah, and there's other questions like that I think that businesses can ask. I mean, I know that the Kapiti Chamber, I mentioned them before, have been talking about, do people really have to go back to the city? Now, if you had a sandwich shop on Courtney Place, you'd probably say, yes, please. But in reality, do you? I mean, can you operate from home? And then working from home is a whole new thing by itself, because if you're going to work from home, you need to have a proper little setup there. I've worked from home. You need to think about the ergonomics, you need to think about privacy, you need to think about how you clear your head so that you're not taking work into the home.
Definitely. Hey, thank you so much for your time today. I'm not going to take up too much time, but lastly, as I always ask, where can people find you? How can people get in touch and pick that brain of yours?
Well, obviously GTB, which stands for Get the Best. That's what we were Get the Best, but gtb.co.nz, and you can get my phone number from there, or you can pop into us on Dorado Drive, and I might even see if I can boil you a cup of tea.
Outstanding. Mark Ternent, thank you so much for your time today. Go well, my friend. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Beach. Cheers. Thanks, Damian.